Hello, hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome here in this short Bold and Raw Talks with me. I hope this video will find you at the right time and in the right place. So, in the next few minutes, I will be sharing with you this topic that I've put there on this video about an insecure man and the signs to look out for. So if you're going to be watching this broadcast for the first time, please, I request you to like and follow this Facebook page where I'm streaming live from. And if you will be watching this video later on my YouTube channel, please don't forget to subscribe so that you can watch other videos. And you can also buy me stars on Facebook to support this page. And thank you so much for tuning in. Please help me to share the video as much as you can. And let me share my ideas and opinions about this topic of an insecure man. Insecure man. What comes to your mind when you hear the word insecure? Time to time, I receive so many messages, especially from ladies. And when I read those messages, because I do these shows and speak about these topics, all I read in some of those messages is a lady who has met a very insecure man and thinking that that man is the one. An insecure man is the version of the man you have been looking for, but in a toxic way. Let me repeat that. An insecure man is the version of the guy that you've been looking for quite some time. You have met him either online or offline, but he is very toxic. If you check the meaning of the word insecure on internet or the dictionary, an insecure person is somebody who is not confident, not assured, somebody who is uncertain and very anxious. So you're dealing with somebody who is not very confident, is very unsure, always doubtful, and that is very hard to deal with if you begin the journey of being together with him. I will share with you just two quick stories of the ladies who have sent me messages before in the past. One of them is a single mother with two sons, met a very young man, a handsome guy. She's 32 and the man is 34. But the same man has been very insecure in trying to be close to her and having an affair with her. For the last 1 year, the relationship has been very tough for that young lady, and now she's thinking of ending the relationship. Another lady's story is a young lawyer, the age of 34, also has been in a relationship for 4 years with a man who is 2 years younger than her. The man is 32, but for the last 4 years, she cannot recall the time where she felt secured or independent or even free to do whatever she wanted to do as she was pursuing her career as a lawyer. And for those 4 years, it has been hell in that relationship. And now she's also thinking of ending the relationship. Those are just two stories. What is your story? Let me know in the comment section as you're watching this video. As you share your stories, I'm going now direct to the first sign to look out for a very insecure man. And later on, I will do a video to speak about insecure women so that the men also can understand that in this era, we also have ladies who are very insecure. An insecure man is very jealous, gets jealous easily. Jealousy is a very good quality in a relationship. You're trying to protect the other person that you care for. But when you begin to overprotect the person, when you start to become too protective, it turns out to become obsession. You're obsessed with this woman. And if you're a woman who is watching this video, you have met a man who begins, they first start as very caring, a caring boyfriend, a caring man, because they are trying to protect you. And then later on, you realize that the caring is turning to become overwhelming, an overwhelming obsession about your life. And then this man gets annoyed easily by the people you spend time with, the people who call you, and he frequently calls you and texts you. A sign of a very insecure man will call you any day, any time. And if you don't pick up the phone call, the next thing that follows are abuses, blames, and very demeaning words. If you refuse or if you miss, you don't even refuse. This is a guy who is calling you at very odd hours. You have explained to him that you're working or you're tired, you're busy, but still goes ahead to call you even when you attend a function. Maybe you're meeting your friends, having a good time, a party, But this guy will demand to call you, and not only call you, but see you on video, and demand to know where you are, what time you'll get back home. And he feels very annoyed when you are enjoying life with other people away from him. This is one sign that you're dealing with a very insecure man. Number 2, an insecure person, of course, is very controlling. An insecure man, continue sharing this video. An insecure person with controlling and manipulation, they belong to the same category. Because for him to manage your time, to manage your life, he has to control you. He has to control that. It's not easy to deal with somebody's life, This is an adult. You can imagine the 2 stories I just shared with you. One lady is 34, another one is 32, but they have boyfriends or men in their lives who are trying to control their lives. A 34-year-old is not a young child. A 32-year-old, if you are 32 or 34, you know that that's not a young person. As somebody who has lived for 34 years in this world, trying to control her life is not easy. But an insecure man will always feel threatened by anybody and anyone. Any man who calls her, any man who talks with his woman, any man who works with his woman, in short, all the men near, closer to his woman will always be a threat to him. And this is the man who will demand to know where you are, who you're spending time with, and he will obviously be checking your phones. An insecure person will never ever run away from checking your phone and what's going on, who is calling you, who is texting you. This is a clear sign that you are dealing with a very insecure person. Anybody who comes to your phone without your permission, wants to know who is talking to you, who is inboxing you, who you are chatting, who did you talk with last. Even when you have received a phone call, he asks you over and over again and again, who were you talking with? Or even to some extent, very insecure people who will demand you to speak while your phone is on loudspeaker. Yes, those people exist. They are there. Those are clear signs that you're dealing with a very insecure person and your relationship is heading to a very toxic one. And sometimes he will get very aggressive. If you do not explain to him, if you do not tell him who that person is or who those men are, he will become aggressive. He will be annoyed because he believes and thinks that it's his right to know who you are talking with and who you are spending time with. Sign number 3, he will play a victim. Because now he is controlling you. Let's assume now you're talking with another man or other men. And he feels or sees that he has annoyed you. One sign of a very insecure man, he will play a victim. And he will start to say or speak about his past. How his exes made him to suffer in this world, how they cheated on him. In fact, they like bringing their exes' stories. Who likes listening to exes' stories? I mean, an ex is an ex. Unless your life is threatened, why would you bring it to a new person that you're trying to be together with? These men will always play victims. And then he will pretend that he has not offended you by checking your phone, by trying to control you, by trying to know what you're doing almost all the time, because he's hiding his weaknesses. In fact, I am very certain that a majority of insecure men, they are also doing very nasty and weird things behind your back. He knows what he's doing. He knows his behaviors that he doesn't want you to know. And he is so insecure, but he is trying to play a victim so that you do not investigate and know what he is doing behind your back. Be very careful when you have met and started an affair or a relationship with an insecure person. Number 4, an insecure person will make you feel guilty. This is one technique and tactic that most insecure men use on a woman. You know what's going to happen? He will demand you to tell him what you're doing and where you are. If you don't do it, he will blame you. He will call you names. He will say you don't love him. He will say you are chatting with other men. When he calls your number and your number is busy, he will blame you and he will ask you who were you talking with. Even when you tell him you are talking with your mother or your brother or your boss, you even take a screenshot with a proof of the phone number that the guy I was talking with the last 10 minutes or 15 or 20 minutes when you try to call me is this one. He will still make you feel guilty. He will manipulate your words and shift the blame to you because he wants you to beg him for forgiveness after he has made you to feel guilty. I have done a video about guilt tripping. Where I come from, my mama land, my continent, we live and grow up always feeling guilty, even when we are not supposed to feel guilty. Our lives, as you grow up, you want to do good things for people and everyone and anyone around you, including strangers. And when you don't do it, you feel guilty. The same way an insecure person will make you to feel guilty if you don't do the things he is demanding you to do, even when you don't feel like doing it. It is very sad when another human being makes you to feel guilty so that you can do the things they are asking and demanding you to do, and when you do not even want to do them. An insecure person, number 5, will constantly be very critical of you. He will criticize so many things about your life, about him and criticism. And you know, the funny part about insecure men, they do not accept the same criticism. Even this video, if you know I am speaking about a man in your life, as you're watching and listening to me, if you shared this video to him, I can guarantee you 100%, he will criticize this talk. He will criticize my video. He will criticize almost every little details about this specific video, because an insecure person does not want to accept any criticism. Their job is to criticize you, to blame you. You are on the wrong. And he will do that because when he is criticizing you, you will not focus on his shortcomings. You know, when somebody is criticizing you too much, you end up starting feeling, wow, I think I'm not beautiful enough. I think I'm not confident enough. I think I'm not doing so much. I think I'm not being a better girlfriend or a better wife. And in the process, you forget about yourself, because if somebody criticizes you all the time, it is very easy for you to begin accepting what he is telling you to be the truth. That you are actually cheating on him and you're not doing it. Criticizing you that you're chatting with other people and you're not doing it. You're not flirting with people. But he continuously does that until eventually, even when you hold your phone, you begin typing, you feel guilty because this person has criticized you so much. Now you even forget about his own shortcomings. An insecure person, it is very hard to be in a relationship with him. In fact, you can never be happy being with an insecure man in your life. Number 6, an insecure person will rush things. One of the other stories that I've remembered, a lady told me, met a man, and the man was rushing her within 3 months to become a mother, to be pregnant for him. And then he will marry her later on. This was another single mother. An insecure person, once he has realized that maybe you're beautiful, you have money, you are independent, you are strong, or maybe you are coming out of a very painful relationship or a divorce or a separation, will take advantage of it. He will see that this woman really needs a man. She's desperate to have a man. Let me rush her in doing certain things. I have talked passionately about a man who is rushing you to be pregnant without marrying you, especially if you're a single mother. You have a child. I keep on saying this in most of my videos. You already have a child. I know you want a man in your life. You want a father figure. You want somebody to be there for your son, for your daughter. It's natural because you're a human being. You're trying to cover up this space of a missing man in your life. But the same way, it is very easy to be rushed, to become a mother again, to become another single mother again, to be left alone like what the other person did to you. An insecure person will rush you through the things that you don't want to do because they act and believe that they are going to lose you. If you're not pregnant now, for me, another man is going to take you. And that's why I want you to be pregnant. Because in his mind, he is thinking, if I make her pregnant, she will not go anywhere. No other man will look for her. No other man will admire her. Now she will have 2 children or 3 children to deal with. Be very careful with a man who is rushing you. If you don't want to do certain things, like committing or marriage, marriage is a personal decision. It's one of the most difficult decisions to take. Some people just do it and they think that, wow, to get married is to have sex every day, to have somebody to cook for you, to clean for you. And when they get there, they realize, wow, it is not the way they used to think. When you look at the list of the most difficult decisions to make in the world, marriage is on that list. The same way with divorce, the same way with relocation, to move from where you're staying to another country. These are very difficult decisions to make. And you don't want to joke and play around with it. If somebody is rushing you to make these decisions, think twice. Step back and begin asking yourself, where is this relationship heading? Where is this man taking me? Am I thinking right? Or I'm just rushing things? Number 7, an insecure person will often want, of course, validation. He wants compliments. Let me surprise you that as much as women admire and want compliments from people, also men, we want compliments. It's perfectly okay to tell a man that he's hardworking, he's motivated, he's inspirational, he's good looking, he's well dressed. These compliments boosts people's egos and motivation to do even more things that they wanted to do. But the problem with an insecure person, he will demand these compliments. He will constantly ask you, what do you think about me? What do you think about my looks? Do you really love me? Will you ever leave me? Do you really, really love me? And sometimes it becomes annoying if a man is constantly asking you these questions. If you're a woman, the guy is constantly asking and demanding to know whether you like him, you love him, or he's good enough. Is he talented enough? Is he really a nice guy? Asking and demanding you all these things over and over again. It is very draining. It is very draining if you think about it, that your life since you met this man is to constantly compliment him, remind him that you love him, Remind him you're not cheating on him. Remind him that you'll never talk with baby daddy or meet your baby daddy again. It is a lot of work. As I wind up in this talk, and I hope you have shared the video, you can continue buying me those stars there on Facebook if you're streaming live here on Facebook. Number 8, the last 3 points that I want to share with you, I want you to listen carefully. The other sign to look out for a very insecure person is they are very defensive and very aggressive. They want to prove a point that they are man enough. Because in the beginning, this is not a confident guy. Any man and any other person threatens him. And if there's an opportunity where he is made to behave and act like he's a macho, like he's a guy, like he's a man, like your man, he will act quickly. But the way he will act, fighting and using very demeaning words, are his strategies. A confident guy does not need to fight. A confident man doesn't need to prove a point in front of another man. But an insecure guy will do everything and anything. And if he had a gun, God forbid, he can easily shoot you, shoot the other man, and then realize later on he has made the worst mistakes and take his own life. Being with an insecure man is not a joke. He can do anything to prove that he is a man. And I want you to begin thinking deeply. If you are in love with an insecure person and you are staying together with him, or you have begun being closer to him, there are things that might happen in future if you're not careful. If you don't address these insecurities that he's having now, it will be too late. Now you'll be so close to him, but he's so insecure that any man who looks like to be a threat to him, he can do anything to that man and to you. We are talking about your life here. It's not just a Facebook live video. It's not just a video that you bumped into. Because insecure people have to prove a point to the world that they are confident, and yet they're not confident. They are fighting to remain confident in front of the world. Number 9, an insecure person. He is obsessed, and he will be very obsessed with your social media platform. Social media platforms are amazing platforms. The saddest thing with these media platforms, they create avenues of insecurities. And if you have an insecure man, your social media platform can make the situation worse. He will be obsessed with who comments, who did you friend, who did you befriend, what did you comment on someone's picture, how did you reply. He can sit down and analyze your social media platforms even for hours. And you know the problem with an insecure person? He will still come and ask you about the people, some of the people you don't know. Some of you ladies are extremely gorgeous. Men are always on your neck. They are hunting you. They want you. Even when you tell them you are married, you have a ring on your finger, you have children, even if you are pregnant, there is a man out there who will still want to talk to you, want to make friendship with you, even when you're in another relationship. That's the nature of the world, but an insecure man cannot understand that this is social media. It's public. There are strangers here. You are not doing or posting stuff to offend him or to make him feel bad, but an insecure man can actually demand you to delete your social media. Get out of social media. In fact, I know that if you're watching this video, and you can confirm to me on the comment section that an insecure person made you some time back to temporarily deactivate your social media platforms, or you have unfriended him, you have blocked him, you're no longer friends because his habits and his words are always attacking you and trying to control your social media platform. It is very hard to have a social media life and a private life with an insecure person. It is really hard. You have to choose one. Either get out of social media and make him a happy man, or stay in social media and continue knowing him, and both of you remain in a very toxic environment, and eventually you will have to decide to leave him or to go back to social media. The last sign to look out for, of course, this is not all the signs. I know there are many other signs. He has so very low self-esteem. This could have been the number one point, that low self-esteem can affect a man. He has very little confidence about himself. And once he has very low self-esteem, it will affect so many areas of his life, including relationships. At work, he will be fighting with co-workers. Neighbors, he will be fighting with them. Family members, his brothers and sisters, parents, he will still be fighting with them. And the same way, you, the woman in his life, he will carry on with the same fights he's having with everyone and anyone. Low self-esteem is not a very nice thing to have. And this creates a lot of jealousy, because to him, he will never feel a man enough. He will never feel a boyfriend enough. Never ever. Even as much as you try to assure him, remember, an insecure person, you have to keep on assuring him. You even go an extra mile to give him your passwords. These are my passwords now. You have all the rights to check who is inboxing me, who I'm chatting with. There are women living in such a life, married or dating. Can you imagine? Is that a better life, or it's just a prison? Is that really a nice life if you have to surrender all your private life and public life to one human being to satisfy his lack of self-esteem, to make him feel that he's a man enough? Is it fair? Is it a good thing? The last but not least in this video, as I finish, there are other reasons beyond the man, and I don't want to attack or blame this insecure person, because some of them don't know they are insecure. Maybe he's a young man, and by young I mean he's under the age of 30. He has never dated so much. He has no idea that what he's doing, he is just an insecure guy. And I know that one or two of them is watching and listening to me. I was there. When I was in my 20s, I was very insecure. One of the reasons is because I didn't know about relationships. I didn't know anything. I was just starting to date. And I thought that this list, which I just shared with you earlier on, in case you're watching me from the beginning up to now, I thought doing this to any woman that I was dating was the right thing. Now I no longer do them. And the last bit that I want to share with you, sometimes the man could be going through past traumatic experiences. Maybe he's an orphan. The parents passed away. There's a lady who told me that she met a man who was so insecure, but later on discovered that because he was raised by different family members, sometimes by a grandmother, sometimes by an aunt, sometimes by an uncle, and all of them never showed him love because the parents died when he was under the age of 1 year. You can imagine if you grew up without your parents. Most of us are very lucky. You grew up with your father or with your mother. But this man has grown up where he is abused left, right, and center. The people supposed to show him love are not alive. And every time in his life, he's just looking for any person to show him love. And maybe you, the woman, he's the one he's looking for. Traumatic experiences can make people to become very insecure. The other thing is, of course, the past relationships. The past relationships, if there's a woman who betrayed him, he did everything to make the relationship work. Some of the men I know who have taken women to colleges to make them advance their careers or to study, and then the woman turns around and leaves him alone. This can be the highest form of betrayal. And if he meets any woman, he will be anticipating the same experience. And that's why he's just an insecure guy. He doesn't want to go through the same cycle that he went through with one of the women or the women in his life. Divorce and separation also comes with so many effects to so many people, including a woman or a man. Divorce and separation is not just the word divorce. In fact, for me, I always look at divorce as the process of unloving someone that you used to love. You start unloving. You start removing all the plans you had with him in future. You remove all the dreams, all the memories. You delete all of them. That is not an easy process. If you're thinking of divorce, think twice about it. It's a process of unloving. So if somebody has gone through a very painful divorce, like most divorces, how painful they are, it is very easy for him to become insecure with any other person that he has or he has met. The other reason is somebody can be insecure because of different levels of education. We have amazing women these days who are getting more educated, earning more money, and this can threaten a man's ego. If you're making more money and he has zero opportunity of redeeming himself to continue making money or even much better, more money than you, it can threaten him. He's just being a man. He's just insecure because of your position and how much money you're making. An insecure person can also be affected by the age gap. If the age is too wide, like let's say 10 years and above. I know that some of you ladies, you have a man who is 15 years older than you. He can be insecure of any man trying to talk with you or chat with you because of the age. He knows that he is too old for you, or if the man is too young for you, the man is 10 years plus younger than you, he will always be threatened by the age factor between the two of you. And obviously, an insecure person can become insecure because of the circumstances he has met the woman. Maybe you're a single mother, and maybe you have not sorted out your issues with your baby daddy or the father of your children. There are very few men who can understand that your relationship is over with the father of your children. And the phone calls or the talks or the meeting of the father of your children are just meeting. He may misunderstand that and he will feel threatened by the other man. And this can make him insecure. Lastly, long distance relationship is one of the relationship that suffers the most in insecurities. Dating somebody who is far away from you and also being in a relationship with him and there is no plan to be together with him can increase a lot of insecurities. Anything you talk about, anything you post about, and the longer you are delaying to meet each other, that's why I'm so passionate about long distance relationship. I always say, if you begin the journey of long distance relationship and you're not married, you must think about the opportunities of meeting and seeing each other very often. You don't just start a relationship from nowhere. You've met this man, you are in Saudi Arabia or you are in the US. The man is in New Zealand or the man is in Europe. Traveling is expensive. Getting visas are very challenging. In fact, where you come from, it depends with which country you come from. To get that document, even to travel and go to see each other, is not as easy as ABCD. It's difficult. So when you start a relationship and you know it's long distance and you know you cannot travel and that person cannot travel to come to see you, expect insecurities to be between the two of you for a very long time. Think twice before you start any long distance relationship. As you get older, you realize that you can only manage a long distance relationship if the two of you can deal with insecurities or can travel and see each other. It is much better for you to begin looking for people near the city you're staying or the country where you come from, or try and wait until the time you will be able to go where you can find this man and be together with him, instead of going through useless fights every day because of insecurities. This marks the end of this talk. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you for buying me the stars. I wish you nothing but the best. My message to you is this: as I said from the beginning, an insecure person is a toxic version of the one, the man that you wanted. This handsome, intelligent, confident, romantic father figure man that you always wanted in your life. And is insecure. That is the toxic version of a man. And think twice before you go on with that relationship. And I know, even though most men cannot admit, very many men have a fragile ego. I am one of them. You break a man's ego, getting it back, it's very hard. But insecure men, their egos are very fragile. Anything can break their ego. Confident men, it takes a long time to break his confidence and his ego. Think twice before you go on with that relationship. If you just began, step back. If you're on it, begin the process of dealing with these insecurities. And one way is to leave the man alone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for sharing this video. And I hope you liked it. And please don't forget to follow me if you're watching for the first time. Please find time to watch other videos. And until the next video, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel too. Thank you, and I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me. Goodbye, and take care.